Celebrate the wins because you never know how much progress you're going to make until you look back in hindsight. At the time of this recording, it is April 2nd of 2026, and it is vlog time. It is time to share this update, this proper, real update on what it's like to be on this crazy journey to retire my parents from our Action Coach business by the end of this year, by the end of 2026. Starting this journey about, 4, maybe 5 months ago, we kind of began this journey of setting the crazy goal to retire my parents. And if you know much about our journey so far, you'll recognize that this is kind of a crazy, really tall task to achieve. One, it's never been done, clearly. Two, the business has to grow. The business has to have so many things happen in it in order for that goal to be successful. And I will tell you, looking back, 3-4 months ago, no freaking clue how this was going to all come together, and no clue if I could actually get it done in the time frame or if it's going to take a little bit longer. But we are now at the end of Q1. We're beginning Q2, and I'm taking a little bit of time to step back, and holy crap, it's amazing to see progress. So in this video today, I'm going to share with you the progress. I'm going to share with you more than I've been able to share with you in the past, because there have been some things that have happened in the last few days that allows me to open up and share a bit more. And it's going to set the tone for where we're going to head over the next couple of months in this vlog series. So before I get into some of the business goals and things that we've achieved there, I want to share some crazy stuff. And I don't know about you. If you sat down at the end of the year and put together your goals for the year, your things that you want to accomplish, things that would be amazing to do over the course of 2026, I'm hoping that many of you, like myself, sat down and built some goals that weren't just for business. They were maybe for family, they were for travel and experience, they were for health and fitness and different things of that nature. I know I did. And I sat down and I actually set out some milestones for me when it comes to some fitness related goals. And this past week has been retest week. By golly, retest is also exciting and scary because, I don't know, it's painful. But I had to share this with you because it blew my mind on what's possible when you put in the consistent, dedicated work. So here's the summary of this here. I set out at the end of last year, at the beginning of this year, I guess, when I was setting my goals. I set out for kind of at least 4 primary goals or primary benchmarks that I wanted to test. So the first was a timed mile. The second was max pull-ups without stopping, max push-ups without stopping, and then a max squat or max number of reps for a squat at 240 pounds. So those were kind of my 4 core areas. We're testing some strength endurance, and then ultimately the ability to run and have kind of some cardio capacity there as well. So I set out, and it was probably the last week in December. I think it overlapped with the first couple of days of January, and I went through a week and did like each of these and tested them. So one of the first ones was the timed mile, and I don't think I've timed a mile since, maybe I was still in school. It's been a long time, and I got to tell you, that was so painful. I don't know if I just completely forgot how to pace a mile or what it was, but it was insanely painful. I got halfway through that thing, felt like I was just going to keel over, throw up. Like, it was just awful. Got it done, finished it in 6 minutes and 14 seconds, which is pretty respectable. Like, all right, painful, but I was able to do it. So 6:14, set a goal for the year, right? So these were goals for 2026 overall. Set a goal for the year to just break 6 minutes. I think if I can get under 6 minutes, like, awesome. That's where I wanted to be. Retested this week. Went a 5:28. And not only that, it felt so much better. It's a lot less painful. But went from 6:14 to 5:28 in 3 freaking months, guys. Like, this is insane when you start looking at how the consistency stacks up over time. So that was test number 1. Next day was testing the pull-ups and the push-ups. Pull-ups 3 months ago was 17. Set a goal for the year to get to 30, which is Like that's really, really respectable. Really could be fine at 17. Like that's a really good number. But set some goals, see what we can accomplish. Retested that this week, did 22. So went from 17 to 22 in just 3 months. So I'd say that one's right on track, if not slightly ahead of pace, to achieve the annual goal. Push-ups. This one I was a little disappointed with the number when I did the first baseline test. It was 32. Like, okay, 32, not bad, but not really where I wanted to be. So I set a goal for 50. If I could do 50 in a row without stopping, without resting, by the end of the year, like I'd be really happy. Retested that this week, did 56. Okay, making progress. Amazing. So then today was squat day. Sat down to do the 240-pound squat. When I did the baseline, it was 2 reps. It's like, that's all right. Cool, 2 reps. Today I did 6. That's a 3x on where I was just 3 months ago. The goal for the year is to get to 8 reps. So right on progress, actually ahead of pace on that one, where potentially we could hit that by the end of Q2. So why this is important, why I share this with you is it's important to take a step back and go, what is the baseline? What are the things that where I'm at today, and looking over here and saying, like, what do I think I can achieve? What do I want to achieve? What's the end desired state? And then actually measuring the progress along the way. We talk about this a lot when it comes to business. We talk about it a lot when it comes to finances, but sometimes we can get a little lost in our fitness goals. We just don't measure enough things. It can get a little lost in our family time. It can get a little lost in some of these other goals that we set. But when we set those things, we can take a look at it and say, these are the times when I'm going to come back and do a retest or reanalysis or see where my time has gone. I can see that progress over time. I may not make the jump from point A to point B in 3 months, but if I can see going from point A to point A, point 5 in a couple months, and then know that I'm on progress for this point B, that in itself shows us that we are doing the right things to continue to shift into directionality. So I had to share that with you because I think it's important to go back and realize not everything has to be about business, but when we take that same discipline, it's amazing what we can accomplish. So let's bring it back to business. Looking at this crazy goal to retire my parents by the end of the year. A couple things as I look back at Q1. So first and foremost, they're just like pure numbers. First numbers is I look at Q4 of last year and I look at Q1 of this year. What is our quarter over quarter growth, if any? Looking at the numbers as we finalize the books here, 22% growth in revenue quarter over quarter from Q4 to Q1. Better than I expected. Second number I looked at was year over year growth. So Q1 of 2025 and now Q1 of 2026. How do those two compare? 37% growth year over year. Okay, we're seeing some progress here. That's absolutely amazing. Better than I expected, but I have to share with you because I think this is so critically important if you're in the same boat that I am. We didn't hit our goals. Like I look back at many of the numbers that we were tracking during the month. I look at a lot of the things that we were looking to accomplish in general. There's a lot we just didn't check the box on, or we just slightly missed, or we were like way off in a couple other things. And what that does psychologically, at least for me, is I feel how painful that is, right? Like it just, like we're missing goal. Things don't feel like they're moving in the right direction. There's things that I wanted to accomplish that I didn't get accomplished. And that in itself is painful, especially if you're diverting focus into certain areas. So to be able to take a step back and go, okay, we didn't hit every goal that we achieved or had set out to achieve. However, we have had some amazing progress. We've had some really big successes and wins alongside these things that could be classified as failures, right? If we get too stuck on just what the end outcome is and don't look at some of the comparison and the growth over time, it can feel very defeating. So I want to call that out for you. If you're sitting there looking at your numbers and going like, Tanner, I missed this and I missed this and I missed this and this didn't happen and I didn't blah, 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 blah. Like, it's okay. What are the things that did go well? What are the things that shows progress month over month, quarter over quarter? How did your mentality change? How did your resiliency change? There's always something that we can see progress on. So I wanted to call that out for you today. And I want to share with you the big news, the big crazy thing, the thing that I so desperately wanted to share with you as we were going through the process and just couldn't due to non-disclosures and things of that nature. But today, I get to share with you the big announcement. As of April 1st, we have acquired another business, another Action Coach firm in a completely different state with an amazing coach. Going through a proper process, not just an expansion of territory. Sure, we can do that within a franchise. But in this case, it was a proper, true acquisition. Sourcing a deal, conversation with the owner, getting to the point of reviewing the initial kind of points of what the deal might be, letter of intent, due diligence, tons of conversations with my CPA and attorneys, getting new entity structure set up, and doing a full deal. And I am just so incredibly excited to announce today that we, Action Coach Central Texas, will now become Action Coach Benefic Group as we expand our reach, expand our footprint. And today we are now in South Miami. And we get to bring on an amazing local coach down there who is a veteran and Action Coach. So excited to be bringing him as a part of this team. It's so much fun. And I'd be lying if I was sitting here saying that it was absolutely perfect and I wasn't scared and there was no all these other feelings that come along with it. But it is progress towards the goal. When I look at all the things that have to happen inside the business in order to be ready to even try to retire my parents from the business by the end of the year, there's so many things that need to happen. And one of them is coaching capacity, continuing to grow that within the business, continue to not have it rely on one or two coaches, especially if those coaches are my parents. So being able to bring this in, continue to expand it out beyond just what a family business was into where it can be. And this is like one of the first dominoes to fall, to click into place for us to move on this path. So when we set out with this crazy goal, this was one of the pathways that could allow us to achieve the goal by the end of the year. And I got to tell you, I had zero intention, zero belief at the time that this would happen as soon as it did. I thought, yeah, maybe, one, maybe two different acquisitions by the end of the year, if the things fall into place. And this one happened by the end of Q1. And it just shows the trajectory of where the business is on and the things that are happening and continuing to build the structure for the future. So I'm just insanely excited. And what this does is it allows me now to share with you the lessons, share with you the process, share with you how to go from the initial conversation to source a deal all the way through to closing that deal. I wanted to share that journey with you. I have taken notes. I'm excited to bring it back and share with you exactly what I went through, the emotions that I felt, I knew what I was doing up to a certain point and then had to learn some things and go through it. And I want to share that journey with you. And now that we are on the other side, I'm going to take the next couple of months to share those steps with you so that if you decide to do something very similar, you've got the blueprint, you've got the process, and not just the process, but you've got the feeling and the emotion on the other side of what that feels like as we go through it. So absolutely excited to share that. Absolutely excited to see the progress over time. But to finish this off and kind of bring this conversation to a close today, for those of you that are with me, for those of you who know what it feels like to be in the spot that I am today, for those of you that know that choosing to go after big goals requires growth, and growth is uncomfortable, I want to raise a cup of coffee to you today. Because there are days when I doubted myself. There were days when I wasn't sure that things were going to go the way that they wanted. And frankly, I still have those days. I still have those moments. There are days when I wanted to cry, to give up, to shut down, to just go back to what was comfortable. Because this growth is uncomfortable. It requires me to do things that I have never done before in areas that I've never experienced before. And I'm guessing if you're chasing big goals, you feel something similar. And you know exactly how I feel. But there's so much pride to be had in the progress that we're making. So I raise a glass to you and say cheers. Celebrate the wins. And remember this little lesson that was shared to me by my coach probably about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago now. And that's that happiness is seeing progress. I choose to be fulfilled today because I am making progress. I encourage you to take that lesson and remember it, because it's not always about hitting every single goal. It's about seeing the progress over time, getting 1% better, a little bit better every single day. So with that, raise your coffee or your tea or your glass of water or whatever you want to drink. Cheers to you. Here's to the next quarter. Here's the next few months and all the things that we get to learn. And as always, let's go build some amazing businesses together.